The sun was shining in the sky like a crimson ball, but this time its brightness symbolized not hope, but destruction. The earth was gasping its last breaths, and humanity had taken the stage to witness its final moments. Climate change and environmental catastrophe had become the greatest threat to life. Forests were once green and alive, but now they were filled with burning embers among dried branches. Water sources had dried up, soils had cracked, and the sky had turned a crimson hue. Humanity had incurred nature's wrath, and there was no turning back. Climate change had led to the melting of glaciers, rising sea levels, and severe weather events. Tsunamis had swept coastal areas, hurricanes had devastated cities, and droughts had destroyed agriculture. Humans were no longer masters of nature as they once thought, but rather its prisoners. Environmental catastrophe had also struck natural life. The world, which once offered rich biodiversity in forests, rivers, and oceans, was now silent and dead. The chirping of birds that once filled the sky had given way to silence, and plastic waste had replaced fish in the seas. The scene around us was terrifying. Skyscrapers lay in ruins, covered with the scars of fires that once burned below. Nature was responding to the attacks directed at it, but this time not with silence, but with anger. Humanity had repeated past mistakes and found itself powerless against nature's ruthless power. However, instead of succumbing to despair, people had come together to seek solutions. Scientists, engineers, activists, and ordinary individuals had joined forces to save the world. Renewable energy sources had been developed, carbon emissions reduced, and sustainable lifestyles promoted. Great efforts had been made to reforest, clean the seas, and preserve natural life. People had remembered that they were part of nature and had responsibilities towards it. And finally, the fruits of these efforts had been reaped. The sky had turned from crimson to blue, and the winds began to carry clean air. Forests had once again become green, rivers flowed with vigor, and natural life had been revitalized. People had rediscovered the beauty and miracles of nature, but behind this victory lay a lesson that must not be forgotten. Humanity had to live in harmony with nature. As part of nature, we had to respect and protect it. We must not forget that each of our small steps can make a big difference. In conclusion, even though the world faced the threat of extinction, hope never disappeared. Humanity, by working together and preserving nature, could build a livable world for future generations. Perhaps this catastrophe had served as a warning to humanity and reminded us once again of the value of nature. Without succumbing to despair, by believing in the power of nature, we can protect our future. In conclusion, even though the world faced the threat of extinction, hope never disappeared. Humanity, by coming together and preserving nature, could build a livable world for future generations. Perhaps this catastrophe had served as a warning to humanity and reminded us once again of the value of nature. Without succumbing to despair, by believing in the power of nature, we could protect our future. And thus, by believing in the power of nature, we could safeguard our future and nurture hope for a better world.